It's so fun and interesting how things happen when you get on other stages, when you go to events. Remember, and I've said this to you all day, live events are magical. I was passing through from Canada to do a little bit of, I had some events going on in California and Arizona. And so what I thought I would do is I would pop into one of the clubs, because if I'm going around, of course I'm going to utilize the fact that there are speaker clubs that I've built. And I was not supposed to be in Arizona, but I was passing through. I had a couple of days, so I looked up on the calendar if I had any clubs going on, and I saw that there was one in East Valley in Arizona. And I popped in to go hang out with Barry and Kat to watch them run their club, and in walks this guy. And he's hard to miss because he's 7 feet tall. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool and interesting. But it was the really amazing part of the whole thing is that Stephen walks in, and he had been on the Pure Potentials Speakers Retreat website. He was looking into what we do, and he came in and he's like, you know what, I'm really wanting to talk with whoever's running this organization. I'm thinking about who can I get to do some coaching with? How do I get better at doing this? And you're thinking, you know, you're a professional athlete and you have all of this amazing qualities. He's an amazing speaker. He's been around for a really long time doing some pretty phenomenal things. I mean, it is an amazing feat to make it to any professional level athlete. And one of the things that I said to him was, is your genetic gift a factor? Is that why you are in the NBA? And he said, you know what, where I'm from, everybody's tall. Like, this is a group of people because they have qualities. You have qualities that brought you into the speaking world. He has qualities, obviously, that brought him into athletics. But it is really something there's something so powerful there that he didn't stand out. It wasn't just a given for him. And it was really fun to talk to him. We've done some interviews. He shared his journey with me a little bit, and he's going to share it with you as well. And he said some really cool things like, once you make it, that's when the real work begins. And I thought it was really inspirational, all of the insights you can get from professional athletes, because they know what pressure's like. They are under scrutiny. They are so similar to speakers, it isn't even funny, right? So I'm really excited that I had the opportunity to meet him, to get to know him, to work with him now. And I'd love for you to experience him as well. So get on your feet, give a big warm welcome for Stephen Hunter.
How you doing?
Wait for me when you're done.
All right. Oh, how you guys doing today? All right, good. So before I start, look, I supposed to came up here at 4 o'clock, but nobody told me that in San Diego you guys have like killer birds out here. Like, seriously. Me and my wife, we were at this restaurant down the street. I got to tell you this story. And we were eating, we were eating our food. Obviously, I ordered some mahi-mahi tacos. And obviously, this seagull, he wanted it more than I did. So he came down, and I was on my phone, but he came down and grabbed my whole entire taco. He hit my wife. My wife went flying all over the place. And, I had to get that out, man. What's going on? How you guys doing? Listen, we're in San Diego, and all of our kids are at home, so give yourself a round of applause for that. All right, where's my click? So, guys, I'm happy to be here today just to share a few things with you. My name is Stephen Hunter. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Currently work for, thank you. Big-time Cubs fan. Anybody here from Chicago? Okay. Yeah, currently working for the Phoenix Suns as their community ambassador. Thank you very much. And just so glad to be here. Before I start, give it up to Barry and Catherine for having us here. Thank you, guys. All right, let me see if I can get my slide on here. Is my slide going ready, guys? All right. Well, if I don't have my slide, okay. There we go. All right, couple things, guys, before we get started. Everything is a process. Everything is a process. All right? I haven't always been this tall and handsome all my life. All right? Not always. There's a process. When I was 13, I was 6'4", and I ended up growing 2 inches every year. I eventually became 7 foot tall at the age of 17. I accepted a scholarship to DePaul University. I was there. I studied communications and ended up leaving DePaul University after my sophomore season, being drafted with the 15th pick overall in the first round by the Orlando Magic. So I say all that to say, guys, there's no stairs to, there's no elevators to success, only stairs. All right? There was a point in time where I had to learn very, very early. Started when I was 16 years old, and I was a junior in high school. And I decided to leave my high school and attend Mount Zion Christian Academy in Durham, North Carolina. All right? Now, if you guys are not familiar with that school had the likes of Tracy McGrady. Anybody ever heard of Tracy McGrady? All right, well, he's an NBA Hall of Famer, but he ended up leaving Mount Zion, going straight to the NBA, so I thought this was a great opportunity for me. So, went to Mount Zion, and, you know, it wasn't all good. There were definitely some perks, and I'll just be honest with you, I was offered some money at the age of 16 years old, all right? You guys want to know how much, or you don't care? All right, so the deal was this, that if I was to complete my junior year at Mount Zion Christian Academy, and if I was to attend the college that my coaches basically sold me to, then they were going to pay me $100,000 and give me the title to a Range Rover, a brand new Range Rover. So at the age of 16, I'm like, wow, you know, that's pretty cool, right? It is pretty cool, right? So, but that wasn't all right? For my first 2 years of high school, I was a great basketball player, all right? I was a great basketball player, but I slacked in the classroom, all right? So I came to Mount Zion. I had a low grade point average. So the next perk was they were gonna forge some grades and give me fake SAT scores so that I can attend college, all right? This is what goes on. So I attend Mount Zion, all right? Meet with my parents. They think it's a great idea. I attend Mount Zion. Athletically, it was the best thing I could have ever done. It turned a boy into a man. We would wake up at 4 a.m. We would run Duke's football stadium stairs, all right, until we were blue in the face. We'd attend class. After class, we would go to the gym and play scrimmages from 3 p.m. to 9 o'clock at night. I mean, you were just sick of basketball, sick of it, all right? It was basically a basketball factory, all right? It turned young men, young boys to professional basketball players, all right? So athletically, it was great. On the flip side, this is what happens. This was a turning point for me. One day, I get caught cheating on a test. They gave us the answers. I get caught cheating on a test. There's a big thing amongst the school saying these basketball players are cheating. There's a big scandal. Eventually, our coach straightens it out. All right, he straightens it out. I don't know if he paid the school or whatever, but he straightens it out. Everything was good to go. At that age of 16, I had a decision to make. I could have stayed there and played this game and, you know, started accepting these grades that weren't really mine and accepted this money and go to a school that I really didn't want to go to. Or I could leave everything behind. So for me, I mean, you can ask my wife, I'm just a horrible liar. I am. So obviously, I get spooked, but I came to this conclusion. I said, you know what? I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to start out my life like this. You know, I don't want to start out a lie. I want the things I have to be mine, and I want to be able to earn everything I have so no one can take it away from me. All right? So at that point, I end up escaping Mount Zion. I need to write a book about that, by the way. I escaped. I went on a college visit to UNLV, met my parents down there, told my parents I wanted to go home. We got back on a flight to Chicago, and I ended up leaving everything behind. So the bad grades that I had going into Mount Zion, I had to start over with even worse grades. All right? So from where I'm from in Chicago, there's a lot of great basketball players, but very few make it. Number one, we have a high crime rate. There's a bunch of gangs. There's a bunch of bad influences. Number two, a lot of our basketball players are academically ineligible. Guess what route I was headed down? That same route. So I made that decision, guys, and I committed to these things I'm going to talk about today. I got serious, and I got an untainted focus on what I wanted to do in my life. So from that point on, I took Saturday schools, I took summer school, I asked for extra credit, I studied for the test, I got tutors, I did everything I had to do on my own, and I ended up accepting a full ride scholarship to DePaul University on my own. Guys, one of the things I put up here is the universe has a way of rewarding those with unwavering dedication and faith in what they do. All right? Basketball is something that I really wanted to do in my life. Obviously, I grew up in Chicago. There was a player there. He wore jersey number 23. Anybody know what I'm talking about? What's his name? There you go. All right, wake up a little bit. Michael Jordan. All right, so I wanted to be like Mike. So he's the reason I wanted to go to the NBA. All right? So the next thing I have here for you guys, I want to, if I can get this slide working, is, I don't know if it's going to pop up. But guys, it's called passion. And I really wanted to pop up. I don't know if you guys can help me out, but it's called passion. All right? Passion. Your passion will fuel you every single morning. All right? It will fuel you every single morning to get up and go to work and do the things you have to do to be successful. All right? One of the things I put up there is sacrifice is an integral part of your growth, both professionally and spiritually. All right? I want to share a little story with you guys. Can I talk to you today? Yeah. All right. So I played for a team in 2008. It was called the Denver Nuggets. And I played with a guy by the name of Carmelo Anthony. Anybody ever heard of Carmelo? A few of you guys? Almost got some hockey fans in here or something like that. I don't see too many basketball fans. All right, but I played with a guy named Carmelo. Played on this team. We were a great team. We made it to the conference finals that year. Our team, we actually had so many tattoos with the guys I played with. They call us the Thuggets instead of the Nuggets. So that's enough. Yeah, my wife could attest to that. But it was a crazy team. Like, seriously, like, you had to watch your back in practice. You might get shanked or something like that, you know. So it was a crazy team, but nevertheless, it was a great year. So one road trip, we're coming back home, and I'm talking with Carmelo, and we're all sitting together. It's myself, Carmelo, Kenyon Martin, and a guy named Allen Iverson. Anybody ever heard of Allen Iverson? Played with him too. All right, so Carmelo starts telling me about, telling us about how when they were in Las Vegas during the Olympic trials, that Carmelo and LeBron, they were sitting at the blackjack table. It's about 5 in the morning. All right, mind you, they got practice the next day. They're getting ready for Worlds, you know, to play all these teams overseas. So, you know, guys need to be focused. They got practice in the morning, 10 a.m. So finally, LeBron looks at Melo and says, man, you know what? Let's go upstairs. Let's try to get a couple hours of sleep. You know, it's just, you know, it's too late. Let's try to get a couple hours of sleep. So as they walk over to the elevator, it's about 5 a.m., they touch the elevator button, and the door opens, and coming out of the door, they see Kobe Bryant. And they both looked at each other, and it was like, where are you going? All right? And Kobe says, I'm going to practice. And they say to him, what do you mean you're going to practice? 5 o'clock in the morning. like I said, I'm going to practice. This is what time I start. Excuse me. Walk right past them. All right? And LeBron and Melo, they just shook their heads, and they said, wow. And they just went upstairs, went to sleep, and they just couldn't believe it. But they told us that story because Kobe Bryant is probably one of the highest paid players to ever play the game. All right? He's probably one of the most talented players to ever play the game. But to have the mental fortitude, to have the work ethic, to get up during the off season at 5 a.m. for a team that isn't even his own, isn't even the Lakers, and go to work when nobody's watching, for him to do that, I mean, it's just a testament to why he's one of the great ones. And it goes to show you, if somebody like Kobe Bryant, who already has the athletic ability to achieve greatness, who probably doesn't even need to do that stuff and he'd still be great, what do you think guys like mere mortals like me and you have to do? We have to work extra hard because a lot of us aren't blessed with natural talent, such as myself. I tell you what, I've never won an NBA championship. I've never been an MVP, never made an All-Star game, but I played 10 years in NBA because of my work ethic, because I can always be depended on, because when I got in the game, coach knew what to expect out of me, because of my mental focus, because of my ability to want to get better. Those are all the things that make you better when no one's watching. All right? So I wanted to share that story with you guys. So just remember, if you guys want to be great speakers, all right, you got to have a passion for it because you're going to spend a lot of time alone. And it's those moments alone that will define your career. It will define your career. All right? Lastly, I want to bring up to you guys, this is the fun part, the reward, right? Who wants the reward? I know I do. A round of applause for that. All right, as you see there, I got my jersey retired at my high school, and, you know, I won a few awards, you know, while I played. But the main reward that I took away from my success was my impact on others. My impact on others. I remember the first time I was a rookie in Orlando, and the coach put me in a starting lineup. We was playing the Lakers. And he said, okay, Steve, you guarding Shaq today. So I'm like 19 years old at the time. And I'm like, okay, I guess. So, you know, before the jump ball, I'm sitting there, you know, I'm at the LA Forum. And, you know, I look around and I see, you know, Kobe Bryant right here. And obviously I'm lined up against Shaq, and he's about 4 times as big as me. You know, so I'm looking up at him. And I'm just looking, you know, all around. And, you know, it's really amazing, guys, to see where you start from. You go through the process, all right? Go through the process, all the little things, all the short-term goals, all the long-term goals. And it all builds up. And if you don't take shortcuts, you can say, wow, I did it. That's the reward. All right? And also the reward, again, I'll say it again, how I affect others. I'll never forget the look on my mom's face when she seen my name called in the draft. I'll never forget the excitement she would have when she would turn on the television and, you know, see her son out there playing ball. You know, she can look back at all the work she did and all the sacrifices she made growing up, and her product was there. So guys, there is a huge reward in it. Obviously, there is a financial reward. I mean, we all are entrepreneurs. We all are here to make money. We want to make our lives easier for ourselves and our children, our families. There is that reward. But I tell you what, guys, there is nothing more lasting than the impact you will leave on others. All right? So I say all that to say this, guys. I am not a finished product. I don't stand here and say that I'm perfect, nor have I evolved into the person I want to be. But with the passion that I have to be great, with all the things we talked about today, I feel that I'm on the right trajectory to be a successful husband, father, and businessman. My name is Stephen Hunter. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Stay there. Stay there.
Thank you.
Yay, that was so good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He's awesome. One more round of applause. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And Stephen will be on a little Q&A panel tomorrow, so if you wanted to talk to him and ask him questions, that's going to be really fun as well. I know what I did. I had the opportunity. We had a really good conversation. I interviewed him, but I wanted to start off with the right questions, because it's all about asking good questions. So I said, "You ever met Shaquille O'Neal?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do the Harlem Globetrotters really know how to play basketball, or do they just know how to do tricks?" You have to ask these good questions, right? Really good questions. All right. So my little clicker, is it missing? No, it's right here. It's missing. That's all right. Clicker's missing. What we're going to do, how do you guys feel about your presentations? Do people feel like they want to work on this a little bit? You feel like you want to do some work on it? Okay. So in your workbook, thank you so very much. I'm like a cat. I don't even know if I have any slides on this one. Yeah, basketball reflex. I think if we go back to actually, I don't even have slides. Looking at looking at our workbook here, some of the things that you can really do to dig into that message is go back into the workbook where we're looking at, understanding yourself. Maybe do a little bit of writing. Then I'm going to give you an opportunity to move around and do some connecting at different tables, okay? So be prepared for that. Before we start digging into that, is there any clarifying questions that we need around building the 5-minute presentation or anything around clarity or anything that's niggling in your brain? If you have any questions, raise your hand. All right, Barry, go over to the mic. Anybody else? Any questions? Okay, right on there. Good. Let's get them nice and cleared up. I think my timer's off on the, sorry.
I need closure.
You need closure?
Did you ever look up the girl that beat you up and find out what she's doing today?
Okay, you want closure on the story? Actually, there is closure.
Yeah.
First of all, her name is Tiffany Lay. Not even joking. That's her name. She's not in the room, I hope, right?
I don't like her already.
I know. And this is not the most awesome story ever, but it's what happened for real. I had gym class, and Tiffany's out there in the field, and I actually am a pretty good baseball player. I like golf and baseball. I have fairly decent hand-eye coordination. And I saw her there, and I'm like, man, that girl beat me up. So I took the ball, and I whipped it at her, because no one was looking at me, and her head was turned the other way, and I got her right in the back. And then I was like, I pretended like I had nothing to do with it. But yeah, I threw a ball at her. I mean, it's not a glorifying moment. It doesn't really endear me to anybody that I did that. Somebody wasn't looking, and I threw a ball at them. But yeah, that was my closure, and then I let it go. I felt like I came to peace with that.
You're very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, one question. When you talk about the 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, blah, blah, and the long one, you start from the long one and start making it smaller, or you make the 1 minute and then you start just expanding?
Yeah, and this is the creative process. I'm a creative type, so I write a lot of stuff. Do you guys watch Dave Chappelle? Yeah. He's funny, and he's a really good public speaker with some really good messages, right? And he says, I can tell jokes so well, I've just nailed this down. Sometimes I have this big bowl, and I think up a punchline, and I don't even have the joke yet, and I put it in this bucket, right? And then he picks it out, and he tries to build a joke around that. This is everybody's process. I tend to be I like writing as a rule, so I'll write all of this stuff down, and the hardest part for speakers when they create their content, because we birth this, it comes out of us, we're thinking about all these great ideas, and then we have to kill those words. We have to try to drill down what's the real meaning of it. I tend to do that process, but other people do it from, smaller outward. It's not really about that. It's really about going back to core message clarity, because core message clarity, those 6 questions, that's the basis. We have the template for creating a presentation to give framework around certain personality and people's process. They're both the same. Like, they're actually both the same, but different ways of looking at it, right? I would do whatever feels right for you. I'll give you some rules of thumb. I think a 1-minute presentation is 130 words. You know, if you want to be really detailed, you can do this rule of thumb like that. You can Google, there's a whole website that shows how many words equal how many minutes. But think about the one thing that you can solve, the one challenge that you can solve, the one gift that you can give. And that's where I start. And then I expand it based on that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi.
I have a technical question regarding our presentation. Will we be giving our presentation using a handheld mic or headset?
Not the headset, handheld.
Handheld. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love your name. Hello, I'm Surreal. Really? That's awesome.
Hello, Jackie.
Hello.
I've been in the other public speaking for 4.5 years, and one habit that I really haven't been able to start is that habit of the process, like Stephen just talked about. That 5 a.m. gut-wrenching passion that Kobe Bryant has to rehearse, videotape, watch it.
Yeah.
All those things. What do you suggest for people that just start climbing that hill, but just not getting that passion or that habit?
Really, again, this is important, and this is what it looks like for me. You want to write a book? Commit to sitting down every day at this certain time and writing a book. That works for some people. And we hear that, but it's not everybody's process, right? For me, I have decided, how do I get my creative insights? Where does my passion come from? I know that for me, what I do is I work myself, I sit down, I try to force a commitment and do something. This doesn't mean that what's going to happen right there is going to be great. It certainly isn't. I do this process, and then I let it go. So I basically work myself into a place where I'm like, everything I'm writing is disgusting crap, and nobody's ever going to want to hear this, and I want to throw it in the garbage. And I walk away, and for me, I do something that I feel really connected and joyful with. And I also, what I like to do is I like to move myself physically. So I tend to get on my stepper, my treadmill, something like that, and I put on my jams because I also love music. And the big joke is I sing and I can't hear myself when I'm on a treadmill. And it sort of sounds like one word, but I'm and my children laugh at me and sneak recordings of that whole thing. But it's finding your creative process. What's written in books worked for that people or that group of people. So what I would investigate doing is looking at things like your learning style and coming up with something that you can commit to and having somebody hold you accountable. Honestly, I was telling the mastermind the other night, simple things like adding my coaching dates into a calendar. Why is this difficult for me? I'm a smart person. How come I can't do it? And finding the workaround. I needed to sit with one of my team members and make sure that I just did it. So maybe that's the kind of style that you need. But it's deciding that you want to do it. It's finding your core message, because that brings out the passion. And I watch people do this all the time. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. You're like, I know which one you liked best out of that thing. You think you want to do the other ones because you want to make money, right? So it's finding the passion and then working that systematically so you actually can make money with it. You can make money with any message. Somebody wants to hear your message. So it's still digging at that. And I think that you haven't really gotten there yet because you just really opened up what you want to do in a totally different direction.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hi.
You should stand near Stephen Hunter. Sorry.
Yeah, that'll make me feel even shorter.
Yeah.
Sharon Ulof, the details half of Ulof Creative Marketing Solutions. So when do we get our speaking assignments for this weekend?
I love that. That's what we say when we get a booking. So when can we move this around? No, I'm just kidding. Not. We are going to have them sometime. They will be given to you. There's people moving things around. There's photos to be done. There's a lot of logistics. They will be tomorrow and Sunday, and they have a process. Somebody will tell you that process. It won't be me because honestly, those kind of details stop me from creating with you. If I was going to sit there and worry about logistics, and I'm going to be just an event host that's not doing any kind of coaching or training here. So I really need to keep myself focused for you. But I do promise you that I will talk to the team and they'll make sure that you're aware of the process. I think it's something like they'll assign rooms because you'll be in different rooms. You'll find out what day, they'll tell you what order. It's a good process. Does that help? I know it's a little bit vague, but honestly, you have everybody, and if we opened up a bunch of speaking spots, this is all that you would be thinking about, and it would be mass chaos, and you'd miss the entire point of the event, right? You will stand on stage in front of people who have the opportunity and potential to put you on stage. I'm one right here, by the way. I have a ton of events. I'm watching what's going on. Do we have opportunities for people to make a lot of money at our events? We sure do. There's other people in this room who actually have presented me speaking opportunities that I can decide if I want to take or not. I'm looking right at her. She's ignoring me. But you know, there's opportunity, but it's more than just that spot in time. That spot in time isn't all of it. It's talking to the people. You don't know who you're talking to when you're in these rooms. Hopefully that helps. Any more questions before we do a little bit of work? Hi. I like how you were going to run and then you're like, no, I'm not.
Hello, Kenny Clark. I wasn't able to make it today, so is there any way I can get access to what I missed earlier today?
The recordings. Yeah, I've had this question a few times for sure, so I'll make sure that you guys understand how to get any of the content. However, I wouldn't want to rely on it like, oh, good, they're going to record it, we're going to see it later. I will, because you're here and I want you to experience this wherever you're coming in, because I know some people are coming tomorrow as well, and that's just how it has to be, because life happens. But really, the value of Speaker Retreat. And I love that Spotlight Elite people are here who are in my program, because they get to experience it in a totally different way. And it's really about immersing yourself, and I know if it's the first time in particular that you've come to one of these events, that there's a lot of details that you're trying to sort out. I completely get that. You may not know me, or you haven't met me very much, or seen any of our material. You're just kind of seeing what our process is like. I totally get it. And I want to encourage you, and we do have a lot of people who come back year after year, because it is an experiential process, right? But yes, the long answer. Any more questions? All right, so what we'll do is we'll just turn to our books. I'll put on a little thinking music. This is that time for you, John, to sit down and craft some words, okay? Put some words on the paper. Yeah, you just work privately, and then we'll do some pair and share in a little bit, but we're gonna give you about 10 minutes. 10 minutes to do this. Or sorry, yeah, 8. There. Hey, guys. Is there confusion? I feel like there's confusion only because I'm seeing this look and noticing my audience. No. Some people are confused, some people are not. And let me just make sure that you're being very well served. So see here where it says list your talents, list your skills, list your values, and we skipped over that part this morning. And it's talking about understanding yourself. That's on page 9. Please fill in page 9. Please fill in page 10 and 11. spend a little bit of time on page 9, 10, and 11. So we want it to be sort of I want it to be a very self-reflective moment. Everybody take a deep breath with me. And then let it go. Shake it off. Expectation, anything, the whole day, shake it off. This is about you right now. One more deep breath in. Good, let it go. And we'll give you some nice music. Turn inward, see what comes up. Hey. If you're not, we're at different stages, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut this down for a minute and just relax and take a deep breath. And what I want you to do is I want you to understand that this is a process as well. And Al, I want Al to come up to the mic and just share what he just shared with me because I think it's really relevant. And go ahead, Al.
Thanks, Jackie. Am I on? I'm on. Very good. So I have done this exercise at least 2 times with Jackie, and I've done this exercise multiple times in the past at other workshops, asking myself, who are you and what are you here to do? Why are you here? And in the past, I struggled and I would ask myself the question, I would write it and I would rewrite it. Today, it came out so easy. I know exactly why, and I've had to go through this process multiple times. So don't feel as though you got to do it perfectly right the first time or the second time or the third time. The more you think about it, the more you ask yourself these questions, the easier it becomes and the more clear it becomes. So stick with it. Keep asking yourself those questions.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Oh, wait. Say one more thing. Tell the interesting thing about you. This is so weird.
The interesting thing, in fact, I didn't even think of myself as being interesting, but I can teach virtually everyone in this audience how to recite the alphabet backwards, and I can teach you that in 15 minutes or less. 95% accuracy of everybody in this room, I can do it in 15 minutes or less, and you will remember that forever. You can do it. That's awesome. You can do it or you can teach somebody to do it. Okay, so you can already do it. How long did it take you to learn it? Excellent.
Wow.
So we probably had the same teacher, but anyhow, that's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah, you really should.
I want to learn that.
I know. Who hasn't stood up to that microphone today and has wanted to? Okay, Jill. Come on up. Who else? Sarah? Yep, come on. Sarah? Yep, in the back. Victoria, and you. And you. Yeah, okay. We got some people. Get up to the mics. We're going to... No. We're not doing that. Line up right now. If you felt like you should have answered yes to that and didn't, we still have 2 more days, and I really want to encourage you to get up to these microphones and share. So what we're going to do here is you can share anything you want out of that workbook. You can ask any question. You can use the guidelines of what we just have written right now. So it's your time to get some clarity and to hear your own voice.
My name is Jill. And I actually love this activity because I just did this about 2 weeks ago with my coach. So I have a lot of clarity on what I want, what my message is, and who I am. And I am an intuitive. One of the interesting things about me is I see things, I hear things, and I know things. One of the interesting things is that I do see people. I have had people appear in my living room. They have left me messages, and I do see it.
Wow.
And I own that.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much.
So my name is Yasmin Shah, and I did a TEDx talk where I introduced a new word in the vocabulary after having been in working with nonprofits that help seniors. Nobody likes the word senior, older adults, elder. So I said, well, there should be a new word in the vocabulary. So the new word is, hold on to your hats. Okay. Remember how you were in your teenage years where you wanted the ability to drive even though you were bad at driving? Remember how you wanted to take drugs, but you couldn't? You remember how you wanted money to spend on whatever you wanted to spend on without anybody questioning? Remember those days? And remember how you wanted to have sex without the fear of pregnancy? right? Remember those days? Well,
I still want all those things.
so now, when you cross 50, you are in your scene age years. You've seen a lot in life, and you are a scene-ager. And you have all of those things now that you wanted in your teenage years. So, what are you excited about creating? I'm excited about creating a world that celebrates scene-age years.
Nice. Good job. Thank you so much.
Okay, so when I was with the Spotlight Elite group in Maui about 3 weeks ago,
Yes. Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
it was absolutely amazing. But here's the cool thing. Jackie changed my life. Here's how she did. I've always been so careful and so prepared and the ultimate professional. And she decided to have a lethal luau. Okay. A lethal luau, sort of like a dinner time theater. And we were all the actors. And she gave us a piece of paper about 2 hours before. Now, I knew that we were going to have this lethal luau. And I knew exactly the most beautiful dress. I bought it. It was perfect. It fit gorgeously. I mean, it's white. It's just, oh, I felt so spectacular in this dress. I was going to wear it to the lethal luau because it said beach formal, whatever that is. I just knew this was the perfect dress for that. And I was ready. And I knew exactly how the evening was going to go, and I was going to be spectacular, right? She makes us pick a little piece of paper. We draw straws, basically, on our parts that we're going to play in the lethal luau. My part is a male dancer. And we had an hour or two to prepare. I was like, are you friggin' kidding me? Well, so I decided, because I'm a politician and I love politics and playing jokes and having fun with it was just a delightful proposition. So I decided that not only was I going to be a male dancer, but I was going to be Victor, the Russian spy, pretending to be Victoria, the dancer. Okay? And I went around asking everybody, do you have vodka? I need vodka. I love vodka. I trade you vodka for help on Facebook. I love Donald Trump. I help you with Facebook, okay? Do you know Facebook? Do you want to buy time on Facebook? I had so much fun. And then she had me do a dance-off. So I was doing this Russian dance-off thing. It was too weird to believe. It is completely outside of my practiced, prepared. I didn't get to wear the white dress. It still has the tags on it. But I know. But I will. She'll have another event. And by damned, I am not going to be a male dancer at that one. But it was great. It allowed me to find sort of an alter ego that was completely not this strong, brazen feminist, but this weird, dorky, goofy Russian man. You know, I mean, it was certainly not what I was used to. I had so much fun. And there was a couple of moments where I had the audience in my hands, and I totally dug it. So thank you for taking me outside of my universe. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Just, to put a little framework around that, I really actually wanted to see if I could do it in a group like this size because it's such a crazy exercise and it really is hard for people who weren't there to experience it. But one of the most interesting comments, it was actually Mike Wolf in the back who said, by having forced inauthenticity on us, it really showed us our authentic selves. Right? It really dug out some interesting things. So, you know, processes might seem strange, but thank you so much, Victoria. I really love that, Victor.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Hobscheid, and I am the mom half of the mother-son team you guys have seen here today. My son and I built a business over the summer to create audiobooks. And it just occurred to me at a luncheon I had today, at the VIP luncheon with some ladies, why that was happening, why I did that. And and it came to fruition in your book today about, tell us a little interesting thing about yourself. I'm a second child. Are there any second children in the room? Second child syndrome is a real and ugly thing. So my mom and dad had my brother, and life was perfect, and they were this nice, calm, perfect family. And then I came along, and I was an extrovert, and I was loud and big, and I had an enormous voice. And I remember when I was really young, my mom and dad would always say, Kimberly, lower your voice, lower your voice, lower your voice. I heard that a lot. And you know how things impact you when you hear it a lot when you're a child. And later on in life, I had to find my voice and make it really big and my own. And I did, and I had a lot of resilience around that. But I think the fact that now I'm recording audiobooks and all kinds of people get to hear them, it's a really cool way for me to have discovered my voice. My son is a second child, and I hope he has found his at 16. Thank you.
All right.
Jackie, thanks for the opportunity. I guess I'm learning that if you don't toot your own horn, nobody knows that you're coming, right? It's been a challenge for me, and this is a point of a question that I just kind of put out to the audience. Has anybody felt disingenuous when you are asking for the order or asking for payment for what you do? When I first built my first speaking business, very successful at it, didn't have that issue. But laid all that down to go into full-time ministry. And if those of you that know, there's not really a dollar amount attached to ministry.
Yeah.
So I'm finding a conflict being here, Jackie, and I've been to many of these, and I'm forcing myself to face this conflict and hopefully find some answers of how to overcome that. How do you lead somebody? I've been in chaplaincy work and a hospice specifically. How do you lead somebody to a place of peace, a place of genuineness, and then hold out your hand for payment, if you would?
Yes.
And it's a perspective that needs to change. So I'm hoping that by putting it out there, I'm already starting that perspective change, and I can find that.
You can. I love that you asked this. I really, really do. And when we get into that pillar of cash, there's an entire process that has zero to do with money. Absolutely zero to do with money, and you're going to be really fascinated to hear what comes out of your own mouths. And it was actually this lady who's standing here, and I was working through a process with her. I'm not going to tell tales out of school, but it's just really interesting to hear what we say and what that dollar figure or that money means to us. Because if you really think about it, in the grandest scheme, it isn't anything. All it is an energy exchange. That is it. And if you're breathing in and you're breathing out, you have to have this exchange. Where'd you go? I can't see you. Oh, there you are. It's just simply an exchange, and you are valuable, and it is really ingrained into us from a lot of things. Money's taboo. It's, root of all evil. There's a lot of things around it. It is none of those things. It's simply a medium of exchange. It's an energy exchange. And I know, as sure as I'm looking at you right here, because I would, if I had my druthers, honestly, I'm just going to say it. I'm a Canadian. I really borderline on that socialism. You know what I mean? I'm happy to pay extra taxes for healthcare. I am, right? I believe in that stuff. But I also know that when I'm working with people and I don't have the energy exchange, they don't value it. And that is the absolute truth. It's not about me at all. This is about something deeper, and I can't wait to explore that. We will break that particular piece down. It's so important. It has its own pillar. But honestly, I love that you even asked me that. That's awesome. Does that make sense to people? It's very exciting. Very exciting. All right. We'll go here and then to Kimberly. Hi. You first. Oh, you're such a gentleman.
Good afternoon, speakers. My name is Rick Bronick. I live right here in San Diego. And I help men wake up, grow up, and show up, because the planet desperately needs that. I'm really excited about my third book. I'm looking for a publisher right now. It's entitled Evolving Masculinity, a manifesto, capital M-A-N, to help men thrive.
Nice.
And a little known fact about me is I delivered all of my daughters and my sister, but I'm not a doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kimberly.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly, and I am so appreciative. I've been sitting in the chair over there, and yes, I think we're here because we do want to speak. But it's been more of a sponge process for me, and so thank you to everybody who has shared. I've written tons and tons of things down. But what I just wanted to do is stand up and give a vote of encouragement to everybody, because I don't think that any of us would disagree that we're here because we've had this aching in our belly since we were little to do something. And there's also probably nobody else in this room, that's a joke, that doesn't want to help somebody. Because we're all here because we want to help somebody. And so my focus is to really concentrate on broken people. And
like humans?
Like all of us. Because the fact of the matter is we all limp in some way. And we all, as Jackie and I had a discussion one day over the phone, we all come in here, and if we're honest, we come in here with masks. And we pretend. So really, what you had us all do in Maui is not a lot different than what we do every day of our lives. And so it's a beautiful platform to be able to be surrounded with like-minded people who are willing to get naked and to be completely transparent and humbled so that we can be built up in a new way. Because at the end of the day, it's really not just for us. Yes, cash is great, but I think when we sense the aha moments with people that we serve, there's no money that can pay for that. It's great to be paid, but ultimately that's the best payment. And I just want to say thank you, Jackie and Melissa and the whole team, for just being here to give us all this opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kimberly. I love that. And I just want to clear up a really good point here. We all protect ourselves. That's the only reason there's masks. That's it. It doesn't mean anything. We're good people. The process here, I want you to speak. Microphone's here. We want to work. We want to get to know each other. We want to get together. We do not do speaking on the first day, and we do not do that very specifically. And the reason for that is because some people are not feeling prepared. They need to break down some barriers. They want to get clear on their messaging. Some people are raring to go. Right? And this is the dance here of balancing that. Some people are really just, I want to get up there and do this, but you will get so much more out of the experience if you follow this process, because I've literally seen, I had one experience last time with one of the gentlemen in the program, and he said, oh my God, I blew that. How did I blow this opportunity so bad? And I blew it, Jackie, and I said, good. Yay! There's a lot of really important things when something just goes off the rails like that. But I do want you to know that we're setting you up for success. This is part of setting you up for success during this process, and it's very deliberate. Okay, so it is all about getting into a place where we can be completely safe. What Kimberly was talking about, masks. When we do it right off the hop, we're still putting that barrier around ourselves. Does that make good sense? I got you guys. I want this to happen for you. Safe place.
Hi, I'm Sarah Lawrence. The most interesting thing about me is I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I still live there. Speaking has always been my passion. When I am on stage, it is like magic. But I can't network. Ask me to talk to someone individually, a stranger, and I die. So I had this thought. I can't possibly be the only one in the world who gets up on that stage in front of people and loves it, but can't handle talking to people. When I go to Al's group, he does 10 minutes of networking, and every week I tell him I hate it. But I show up, and I do it, and I get on stage. So I had this thought, what if there's other introverts out there who can do the same thing? What if they get on that stage and they feel the same magic, but they are so scared from their networking experiences that they don't want to step on that stage, even if they know there's magic there? So that's where I've started. And I'm starting to build a business and a speaking business around it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Whew. What a day. So, before we break, there's going to be a really special moment here where I want to introduce you to one of our team members. And this is Monica. She's amazing. She's one of the coaches for Pure Potentials. The reason we have coaches isn't because we just want to dump people away and never speak to them. It's because we hear things in different ways. We have a multidisciplinary approach to working with speakers, and I think it's really interesting to get new coaching perspectives, because as much as this is here it is with you guys. You know, you're working with a client, right? Here you are, you're face to face, and you're giving them your perspective, and you're like, why aren't they hearing this? Like, why can't they hear this? And then somebody else walks along, says the same thing, and then they hear it. We need to hear things in different tones from different people who have got you and who also understand you, because this is what I know to be incredibly important. We get out there and we find team and mentorship and people to support us, and that's amazing, and then we still can't get it together. And the reason is because you could, and I've been coach number 4 on somebody's list of people that they're talking to that day because they want to find something out, and we're all talking about positioning, and we're hearing things with our flavor, that Satguru, right? All of them are good. But they don't take into consideration that the person doesn't need just coaching and mentorship. They need accountability and action steps. And this is one of the things that Monica is amazing at, and that she's going to talk to you right now about, is action steps. Because you're going to leave here, you're going to break for dinner, you're going to come back and we're going to break down some core message clarity. But you need to already be thinking about how you're going to feel when you leave here. Because who's ever went to an event and been like all hyped up and energized? Yay! And then you don't do anything, right? So she's going to give you this right now so that you can really feel confident. Ladies and gentlemen, Monica! Woohoo!
Oh, take that money, watch it burn, sing in the river, the lessons I learned. Take that money, watch it burn.
All right, guys, you guys having fun? Yeah. Who's having fun? Raise a hand. All right. So who's learning a lot? Let me see. All right. Who's taking a lot of notes? See my notes? Even as a coach, I have my notes up here with me, right? So you guys taking notebooks full of notes, right? All right. So I want to talk to you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself in a little bit later, but I want to have some insight from you guys, okay? So I want to know, and I'm going to bring 3 people to each mic, okay? What is one actionable item that you have decided that you're going to implement Monday when you go home? 3 people at the mics. Oh, not a lot of movement. All right. Knowledge without action is nothing. You can come to all of these seminars, you can get all the coaching, all of this knowledge, and it can go sit on your shelf, and it means nothing. So part of my job is to make sure that you guys are taking action on what you're learning, okay? So I have 3 people. I'm looking for 3 more brave volunteers there. All right?
Come to the mic.
All right, we'll start over here.
I will organize my email.
Would you like to go first?
It is a mess. I have so many lists, but when I get ready to do some type of opt-in, it's like, who am I speaking to? Because I have the health and wellness, then I have the writing, and I need to get the autoresponders and those email messages organized.
Yeah, that's very important. It can be a time sucker, right? When you see 9,000 emails in your inbox, you start to stress out. Some people do. Some people handle that okay. But it can be an unclosed cycle. And so we're all about, as human beings, closing cycles. So it's easier for us to have something. That's why a lot of people like to-do lists. They have that ability to write it down, capture it, and then draw a line through it when it's complete, and it aids in that momentum forward, okay? So closing cycles, because if you don't close cycles, it's continuously in the back of your head running, even though you may not even know that it's unconsciously there running, and it's occupying brain space that you need to release and close that cycle. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, who's next for me?
Hank Uloff. I guess I'm not the detail person of Uloff Creative. Love you, babe. So here's the thing. We do marketing boot camps all over the country, 3-day boot camps and such. And we always joke that there is the person that asks the most questions. Right now it's Nikki Bassi. She holds the record for the most questions asked. And we've been trying to think of a way to stop the flow, as it were, but group the questions. And these microphones have given me an idea. So we're going back and I'm going into the slides, and every break where it says time for coaching, it's now going to say time for coaching and questions, and we're going to ask people to hold your questions till the coaching time. So this is great, and it's a time saver for our events. So that's
Great. I love you. Thank you for sharing that. And that is that break in thought when you're up there and being constantly distracted by questions. It can suck time away too from your overall presentation. So I love that. All right, we're back over here.
When I return back to Las Vegas, I'm going to reshape my message based on what I learned up there with Jackie, and make sure that my marketing pieces are connected, because I internally, fundamentally shifted when I was up there. So I'm like, ooh, okay, I need to revisit my marketing material and revisit my program so I can make sure that I come from that place, which was the question that she asked me. And so that's opened up a huge new to-do list.
Yeah, I think that quiz opened up a lot of to-do list and insight to a lot of people. I love that quiz. I'm writing on the back of my quiz to capture my notes, because this is valuable. This can show your strengths and your weaknesses. And some of those weaknesses doesn't mean that you have to put the time into it, but you may have to outsource it to get it done for you, because it's an important part still.
Yes.
Yes. So great.
Thanks.
All right, we're back over here to this side now.
So I'm Catherine, in case you didn't know yet. It's amazing to be up there, and it's nerve-wracking, and first you have to sniff whatever Penny gave me in the bottle, and then you can go up there, and we wrote what we were saying, and then we learned a bunch of stuff from Jackie, and as you're writing it, you're going, oh, dang, my talk doesn't have that. And so on Monday, the question is, what are you going to do on Monday? On Monday, we're getting down to the core. We're really sitting and working on the core, because from that comes everything else. From that core is going to come everything else that we speak about. We know what we do in our heads. We've seen evidence of what we do in the real world. And if I can't get that out, if we can't get that out, we're nowhere, and we can't help anybody else. So we're reevaluating what we did. We had video taken, and we're just going to work on our core and go from there, because that's
Awesome.
everything.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful, because that core is what drives that clarity and focus, right? Without knowing that, you're kind of lost and you're stumbling through the dark trying to make sense of, like, what is it that I'm supposed to do next? But that core message drives everything, and it can be a systematic approach to that core message, right? So that's what you get in some coaching. Why is coaching important? Because we can systematically break things down for you and show you what can be derived out of your core message. All right?
Diane Kelly, Sandbrook Benefits, and I'm out of Tucson, Arizona. And based on the core message, which I've been working on, I'm going to retool my toolkit. So I'm going to fix all the things that aren't there and redo the things that I have there that aren't going to meet that message any longer. So it's all going to be redone based on the core.
Good. And lots more tools to come in the next
Yes.
2 days, right?
Good
All right.
enough.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hi, Catherine Steele, English Pronunciation for Success out of Vancouver, Canada. And I've just realized there are so many speaking opportunities through Pure Potentials. I want to look at that more seriously. I speak across Canada. There are chapters across Canada, so I'm going to pursue that. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. Lovely. So guys, I have an exercise for all of you. Where's your phones? In your schedule, do you have your business scheduled in? Okay. Because it's that calendar that shows us what's most important and what is the priority to us. So if you don't have time scheduled in your calendar for your business development, it's going to be a long road for you guys. All right? It's not setting you up for success as fast as you could have it if you don't. If you work 40 hours in another job and you're kicking this off on the side, you absolutely have to be disciplined in your time. And you can do that in 30 to hour-minute chunks of time. What action-based item can I put in 30 minutes that I can mark through and say that it's complete? Right? So without having that scheduled time, that time management schedule, that's what I have my students do. Every week, we submit those because we as humans, we've been told from birth what to do and how to do it. We're not always the most accountable to ourselves. It's always that external force that holds us accountable. So when we start this business endeavor, it's like, oh, you're out here flailing in the wind on your own. Like, who's controlling you? You. And that can be a big time plus, or it can be a big time weakness. So you have to realize that you need that external accountability from coaches, from mentors, from people in your community that believe in you and can be that sounding board. You have to connect to those people so they can drive that and make you accountable to the things that you say that you're going to accomplish. And without them being in your schedule, probably not going to happen because life takes over. And it does take over big time. Usually right when you start getting that forward momentum and you're leaving a high and you're going to do all of these things, life comes in. Well, I got a toothache, now I have to go to the dentist. Oh, my kid got in trouble, now I have to go to the school. Oh, I have this meeting. So life will come at you. As soon as you decide that comfort zone to break outside of your comfort zone, guess what's going to try to suck you back in? Life. So just be aware. So once you start making radical mind shift changes, it will try to suck you back in. So please take the time to schedule and make your business your priority. And that is one of my jobs, is to make sure that you develop, grow, and scale your business. Because I come from a background where I build wealth. I like to build wealth for people. I started as a social worker, working in mental health. That wasn't building me wealth at all. 24/7 crisis intervention, on call all the time. And then I decided I was going to change my career because I was burnt and fried. So then I started looking around. I got connected with, does anyone know Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki Real Estate? Okay. I spent lots of money over there and I learned lots of great things. So much that I went out and now I have a project management and construction company. I flip houses, I buy commercial apartments, everything under the sun, real estate wise. And I got called back in to teach and coach for them too. So I teach, coach, and train on that aspect, but also do a lot of speaking around building wealth. And so part of that process is for you guys to have a business and to grow that business and minimize your taxes and take control of your future. So it starts here and now. This is your niche that you've found. And so along that mind shift that I talked about, I have a leadership training academy where we take leadership teams and management teams out into the wilderness, and we put them under special forces / search and rescue scenarios. We beat them up pretty bad, stress them out major, and see how they function together as a team. And we assess that. And then we give all of those feedback to all the important people that can change it and implement it or look at our results. So that is my passion. Also, this education and coaching company. This is kind of back to my social work roots. This is why I stay engaged in this part, because I'm a social worker at heart. But social work wasn't getting me the desired future of having wealth in my life. Love social work, love it, love all the people. However, it wasn't my path. So no, I don't have shiny object syndrome. It's just my natural path of progression along with a passion. I've gotten to experience both. All right? So let's see. I have about 2 minutes. Are there any questions that you, burning desire that you would like to know from me really fast before we break for dinner? Or I think, yeah, it's going to be dinner time. Anything? Wow. We have no mics, huh? Okay. So you guys take the time, absorb, and I want to leave you with one thing. This is my note that I took. The one thing you could leave that person with, the one thing. What is my one thing? My core message is choice. You have a choice. You have a choice every day. You have a choice to wake up and take responsibility for your life and take action, whether that be, oh, I'm going to work on my business today, or nah, I'm going to watch TV, or I'm going to be happy today, or no, I'm going to find everything negative under the sun to complain about. You have a choice, and what you do with that choice is important because it makes your future, okay? So that's all I have to say. We're back at 7:30 for dinner, right? So you guys are free to go. You guys will have about, what, an hour and a half? What time is it right now? Yeah, so about an hour and a half. Don't be late. How you show up here is how you're going to show up to everything, okay, in life. All right, guys? Have a great dinner.